I used to believe my life was untouchable, perfect, protected. I was Aria Lawson, only daughter of the billionaire who built Lawson Empire from dust and sweat. People whispered my name with respect, or fear. But titles mean nothing when death walks in without knocking. My father died on a rainy Tuesday morning. The kind that sounds like the sky itself is grieving. One moment I was the beloved heiress of a global corporation, and the next, I was an orphan in a boardroom full of men waiting to see how fast they could tear my world apart. Before we continue, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to A Bite of Tasty Stories for more chapters and dramatic love stories. The lawyers stood like statues, emotionless, cold, holding the document that would decide my fate. My father's will. Miss Lawson, one of them began, your father states that to inherit Lawson Empire, you must be married before your 26th birthday. If not, ownership transfers to your uncle, Victor Lawson. My heart stopped. Married. To keep my own company? To keep everything my father built? The room blurred, sounds faded, and all I could hear was the echo of those words. Because no one in that room knew my secret. Not even my father. I am allergic to men. Not a joke. Not some dramatic metaphor. A real, medical, psychological reaction. A man's touch sends me into panic, racing heart, shaky breath, collapsing. I've fainted in public before. Doctors call it trauma-triggered hypersensitivity. So how could I get married? Uncle Victor didn't bother to hide his smug smile. He started acting like Lawson Empire was already his. Giving instructions. Talking over me. Erasing me. Slowly, confidently. 90 days. That's all I had. Many nights, I stayed late at the company building, trying not to fall apart. One night, while everyone treated me like porcelain, one person didn't, the security guard at the front desk. His name tag read, Noah Reed. He didn't stare. He didn't bow. He didn't pretend to care about my money. He just said, "Good night, Miss Lawson," with quiet respect, like I was normal. For a moment, I felt human again. Then a dangerous, desperate idea slipped into my mind. What if I didn't need love? What if I only needed a fiancé? I laughed to myself and shook it away. That was crazy. At least, that's what I thought. My uncle wasted no time. 2 days after the will was read, he walked into my office with a smile so fake it could crack. "Aria, meet Daniel Hart," he announced proudly. Tall, well-dressed, expensive watch, flawless smile. The type of man women worship. And the type of man I feared. Daniel extended his hand to greet me. I forced myself to stay calm. Maybe this time I'd be fine. Maybe my body would listen to me just once. But the moment his skin brushed mine, my chest tightened. My breathing shattered. My vision blurred into a storm of panic. I stumbled backward, knocking over a glass of water as my body shut down. Everyone stared. Someone shouted my name, but the buzzing in my ears drowned the world out. I collapsed to my knees, gasping for air like I was drowning. Humiliation burned through me. By the time I recovered, Daniel looked disgusted. My uncle looked worse, embarrassed, furious, impatient. He whispered something to Daniel and they walked away. The message was clear. I was broken. I was weak. I was unfit to run Lawson Empire. That night, I stayed late again, sitting alone in the empty lobby. My chest still sore from the attack. The silence felt like it was swallowing me whole. Then I heard footsteps. "Rough day?" Noah asked gently. No judgment. No pity. Just kindness. He stood by the desk, same worn uniform, shoulder seams fading, name tag scratched. His shoes were old and tired, but polished. His eyes held exhaustion, but also dignity. He didn't have much, but he had pride. For the first time, I really looked at him. And the wild idea I had ignored returned, stronger this time. Before I could think, filter, or breathe sanity into my mouth, I spoke. Noah, I need your help. I need a fiancé. He blinked, confused. A what? A pretend one. A contract. My voice shook. I'll pay you enough to change your life. He stared at me like I'd just offered him the moon, but covered it in poison. Miss Lawson. I'm a security guard, he said quietly. You don't need someone like me. I don't need love, I whispered. I need a name on paper. For a moment, I thought he might say yes. His eyes softened. Sympathy, maybe curiosity. But then he stepped back. I'm sorry. I can't be part of that. He walked away. Rejection wasn't something I was used to, but I felt it, sharp and cold. I told myself it was for the best. It was a stupid idea anyway. Hours later, as I prepared to leave, Noah ran back into the lobby. Breathless, phone still in his hand. Miss Lawson, he said, voice shaking. My mother, she needs surgery. They want a deposit by tomorrow. I don't have it. His pride collapsed right there, in front of me. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. I just nodded once. Come to my office, I said quietly. We signed the contract under the dim office lights. No romance, no emotion, just ink and desperation. When Noah placed his last signature, he exhaled like the air was being pulled from him. My nightmare had officially begun. Announcing our engagement felt like throwing a grenade into the world and waiting to see who burned first. The boardroom was packed. Directors, shareholders, lawyers, every one of them staring at Noah like he had wandered in through the wrong door. In his borrowed suit and newly polished shoes, he looked uncomfortable, but not weak. There was a determined calm in him. A quiet courage I didn't expect. This is my fiancé, I said, voice steady. Gasps. Whispers. Disbelief spreading like wildfire. Uncle Victor's smile froze so hard I thought his teeth might crack. The media caught the story faster than lightning. Billionaire heiress engaged to unknown man. Security guard or secret lover? Who is Noah Reed? The world wanted answers. So we had to look believable. Noah had to learn how to stand like a rich man, speak like one, walk like one. I coached him in my office after work, how to hold a wine glass, how to greet executives, how to talk to journalists without sounding terrified. He kept messing up. He held the glass wrong, mixed up French words, almost tripped on a marble floor. But he smiled about it. And for the first time in years, I laughed. Me, a woman who hadn't found anything funny since my father died. He made me feel human. And that scared me more than anything. The reporters didn't stop. They dug into Noah's life, his debt, his poor background, his sick mother. They wanted to tear him apart and use him to humiliate me. Uncle Victor fed them rumors, whispering that the engagement was fake. One afternoon, during a press event, a reporter shoved a microphone into my face and asked, "Is it true your fiancé isn't who he says he is? That he's using you for money?" Noah moved instantly. He stepped between us, shielding me with his body, eyes sharp and protective. "Back off," he warned, voice steady. "You don't get to disrespect her." A crowd of cameras flashed. The reporters pushed harder, shouting accusations. Someone tried to grab my arm. I felt panic rising, my chest tightening, vision shaking. It was happening again. But Noah caught my hand. Firm, warm, steady. And nothing happened. No dizziness. No shaking. No collapsing. For the first time in my life, a man's touch didn't feel like danger. It felt like safety. When the guards escorted reporters out, Noah didn't let go until I breathed normally. "You're safe," he whispered. Safe. I had never realized how foreign that word felt. From that day on, my allergy didn't react around him. Not when he guided me through a crowd, not when he helped me out of cars, not when he touched my hand for cameras. With everyone else, the panic still lived in my body. But Noah silenced it. And that terrified me. Because feelings were dangerous. And if I felt anything real, this entire arrangement could burn. So I reminded myself, Noah wasn't mine. He was temporary. A contract. A lie. But my heart was starting to forget that. Every lie has an expiration date. And ours was getting close to spoiling. The company was preparing for our lavish engagement gala, a public display of love that was anything but real. Flowers, cameras, reporters, influencers, CEOs. Everyone waited to see the heiress and her mysterious fiancé. Everyone, including my uncle. Victor watched Noah the way a wolf watches wounded prey, quietly, patiently, waiting for the perfect moment to kill. One evening, after a long meeting with the board, I realized I forgot my tablet in the conference room. When I returned, I heard voices inside, Victor and Noah. I froze behind the door. "My dear nephew-in-law," Victor said smoothly, "you don't actually want to stay with her, do you? You're a smart man. You know what she is." Noah's silence was tense. Victor continued, "I'll double whatever she's paying you. Walk away. Announce the engagement was a lie. Tell the media she forced you." My blood turned to ice. Noah could ruin me in 5 words. He could save his mother, his family, his entire future, just by betraying me. But his voice came out low, calm, and full of steel. "I'm not selling her out." Victor laughed. A cruel, sharp sound. "You're a poor nobody. She's using you." "I signed up for a contract," Noah replied, "but I'm staying because I gave my word. I won't betray her." Victor slammed something on the table. "You'll regret this." Noah didn't flinch. I did. I stepped back before they saw me, but my heart was shaking. Someone, finally, chose me. Not my money. Not my name. Me. Later that night, I found Noah on the rooftop, staring at the city lights like he wanted to run from them. "I overheard," I whispered. He tensed, then relaxed. "I figured. Why didn't you take the money?" My voice cracked. "You need it." He turned to me, eyes sad but fierce. "Because I know what it feels like to lose everything. I won't help him take what's yours." For a moment, I didn't recognize him. Not the quiet guard. Not the scared contract fiancé. But a man who carried a war inside him. "Noah," I asked gently, "what happened to your family?" He exhaled, long and heavy. "My father owned a big company once. We weren't wealthy like you, but we were comfortable. Then someone set him up. Fraud, theft, crimes he never committed. Investors disappeared. Our assets froze. We lost everything." My heart stopped. "Your mother's illness, your debts." He nodded. "We never recovered." A horrible thought hit me. "Noah, who ruined your family?" He looked straight into my eyes. "Your uncle." My breath shattered. The world went silent. I sat down on the cold floor because my legs couldn't hold me anymore. Tears burned behind my eyes. Years of holding everything inside finally breaking. Noah crouched beside me. "Aria, it's my fault," I whispered. "Because I couldn't be touched. Because I couldn't be normal. My father protected me like I was made of glass. And Victor, he waited for him to die." The tears came. Not quiet tears, real, broken sobs I hadn't allowed myself in years. Noah didn't touch me. He just sat next to me, close enough to feel safe, far enough to let me breathe. When I finally spoke, my voice trembled. "I'm allergic to men because when I was 17, someone tried to hurt me. I thought I was going to die. Ever since, my body reacts before my brain does." For a long moment, Noah said nothing. Then his voice came soft and sure. "You don't have to explain what broke you. You just have to let yourself heal." And for the first time, I leaned into him, voluntarily. His arm wrapped around my shoulders. Warm. Strong. Safe. No panic. No shaking. No fear. Just peace. Real feelings didn't knock. They slipped in quietly when both of us were already too weak to fight them. The wedding wasn't supposed to be real. It was supposed to be paperwork, cameras, and a performance convincing enough to satisfy the board and the will. But as I stood in front of the mirror wearing the white dress I never dreamed of, something felt different. I wasn't terrified. For once, I wasn't gasping for air, waiting for my body to betray me. Because Noah had become the only person the world couldn't scare me away from. The hall was filled with reporters, executives, relatives, and people who prayed for my downfall. My uncle sat in the front row, smiling like victory was already guaranteed. Everything was beautiful. Until it wasn't. Just before the vows, Victor rose from his seat and held up a folder. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced loudly, "you deserve the truth. This so-called wedding is a lie. The heiress paid this man to pretend. It's all a contract." Gasps. Murmurs. Cameras swarmed like vultures. Noah's face was calm, but his fists were clenched. Victor continued, "Aria Lawson is unfit to run Lawson Empire. She is weak, unstable, and desperate. The board should remove her immediately." He handed the contract to the press. Chaos erupted. The hall spun. Reporters shouted. Flashes burned my eyes. Everyone stared at me, waiting for me to break, to panic, to run, like I always did. Not this time. I stepped forward, grabbed the microphone, and faced the world. "Yes," I said. "I paid him." Silence slammed through the room. But the funny thing about contracts is, they only matter until the truth becomes stronger. I turned to Noah. His eyes, steady and loyal, held mine. He could have left. He could have betrayed me. He could have taken the money and disappeared. But he didn't. He stayed even when he had every reason to walk away. I took the contract from Victor's hand. Then I ripped it, piece by piece, until the papers floated like snow across the floor. "This wedding isn't about saving my fortune anymore," I said. "It's about choosing the first person who ever protected me without needing to be paid." Noah stepped toward me and held my hand in front of everyone. My heart waited for panic. But nothing happened. No fear. No shaking. No allergy. Just warmth. Victor tried to speak again, but executives rose from their seats. Evidence emerged. Emails, recordings, proof of his fraud against the company and my family. Someone must have been collecting it for months. Guards escorted him out as he screamed my name like a curse. But I didn't look at him. I was looking at the man who changed everything without even trying. "Aria Lawson," Noah whispered, "this started as a lie. But loving you, that's the truest thing I've ever done." My voice trembled. "Noah Reed, will you marry me for real?" He didn't answer with words. He kissed me. The world exploded in applause, but all I heard was my heart, finally free. That day, I didn't marry a contract. I didn't marry a security guard. I married the man who taught me that love doesn't hurt. Fear does. And I wasn't afraid anymore. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, A Bite of Tasty Stories, for more thrilling, romantic, and dramatic stories.